2014 sees some big changes to how we measure employee performance at bwin Party. As an organisation, we're becoming more agile and responsive, working simpler, faster and smarter, and it's important to reflect this in our appraisal process. Performance management has been redesigned to be simpler for employees, more focused on results and outcomes, and less on the details of how to get there. Empowering for employees and managers who'll have more control over the scoring of outcomes, and encouraging the attitudes and behaviours we want from our people. Currently, at the start of each year, we set objectives and enter them into Pi with a clear roadmap of how we plan to achieve them. As of 2014, we're no longer operating the Smart Appraisal system. This required a detailed view of an employee's objectives over the year and how they would achieve them. But due to the constantly changing nature of both our business and our industry, objectives could quickly become out of date and require updating throughout the year. Employee objectives mostly point to specific outcomes which rarely change. The new system focuses on these outcomes and less on the details of how they're achieved. This affords employees greater flexibility in their work and means time is no longer spent in Pi keeping objectives up to date. For those operating in Scrum teams, many of the outcomes are likely to be shared across their team. It's more important than ever to work together collaboratively to achieve these outcomes, displaying key behaviours. As such, the new appraisal process takes in feedback from other members of an employee's team or working circle, asking what they're like to work with, their attitude, and how they can become more effective. The results show strengths and areas for possible development. Development progress is discussed in the appraisal but is not directly scored. The 360 feedback is about highlighting areas for future behaviour development. Let's take a look now at how the appraisal process will work over the year. During February to July, it's up to employees to request that their manager, team and key stakeholders complete the short 360 behavioural questionnaire about them. The result of this will form the basis of their development activity. They'll be able to discuss their progress in their appraisal at the end of the year. Outcomes can be input any time from February up to the end of November. You can add them all in one go or individually throughout the year, as long as they're in the system and accurate in time for your self-appraisal. Self-appraisals are as usual completed in December, where employees outline their performance against each outcome. Appraisals take place in December and January as usual. Managers are only required to input one overall score, taking all performance into account. Individual scoring and weighting of each outcome is no longer required. Our organisation is changing, and as employees, we need to be able to adapt along with it. We're at our best when we have clear goals and the freedom to achieve them, and it begins with simple and effective performance management.